Welcome to this week's class, When Your Health Matters, the class designed to empower you to better health through knowledge and education. And I'm your host, Dr. Richard Huntoon from Advanced Alternative Medicine Center. We're located at 138 Canal Street in Pooler Park, that is in Pooler, Georgia. We're in Suite 404 of Building 400. If you want to get a hold of me, stopping into the office is always a good idea. You get to meet me, I'll get to answer your questions directly. I'll probably do a brief evaluation as the curiosity that I have related to understanding what's going on with you. So that's the best way. The second best way would be to call my cell phone directly at area code 845-561-2225. Again, 845-561-2225. That phone does not receive texts, so please do not text that phone, but leave a message and I'm happy to get back to you as soon as I'm physically able. If you want to text me, I would ask you to do it via email. My email address is docrick, DOCRICK, at spineboy.com. And whether you stop in, whether you call, or whether you email, it's my pleasure to help you to better understanding what the concerns that you have. This class is called When Your Health Matters. It's not up to me when your health matters. It's actually up to you. And when your health has become such an imbalance and such a problem for you that you need help and medicine isn't working, then obviously I would love the opportunity to help you, create clarity for you, so that you can move forward with your life in a healthy fashion as opposed to being tied to medication and being set up for surgical procedures. So today's class is about your sleeping thyroid. It's called the missing link. And why is it called the missing link? Because it's associated with so many different health issues. Good percentage of health issues related to the thyroid, related to the liver, the adrenal glands, the muscles of the body, for women, the ovaries and the breast tissue, as well as the heart. Many heart arrhythmias, atrial fibrillation are regulated by this required nutrient. And the nutrient that we're talking about is iodine. Iodine is the primary ingredient that helps to promote normal function within the thyroid, within the breasts, within the heart, the adrenals, the liver, ovaries, etc. And so the thing we want you to do as the person trying to understand what's going on with their thyroid is to understand if your iodine fulfillment therapy is required for you, and the importance of getting this checked. And it's a very simple test that you can do. You come into the office, we're going to paint a 2-inch square of iodine on the inside of your forearm, and we're going to note the time that we applied it, and then we're going to see how long it takes to disappear. If it takes less than 24 hours, you are iodine deficient. If it takes less than 12 hours, you are pretty severely iodine deficient. And if you were like me, having just returned back from mountain biking in China and having lost 25 pounds while doing that, burning in excess of 7,000 calories a day, my iodine fulfillment test disappeared in 45 minutes. Haven't had anybody beat that yet. Not that that would be a good thing. We don't want you to have less iodine. We want you to have more iodine. So iodine fulfillment means the entire body has adequate stores of iodine in order to function properly. Physicians noted roughly 100 years ago, therapy can help people with the following conditions: either hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, since iodine is needed for both thyroid conditions. Hyperthyroidism is the first deficiency, and then it'll ultimately burn itself out and you get hypothyroidism. Fibromyalgia. People with fibromyalgia probably have an iodine deficiency. Fibrocystic breast disease, polycystic ovary disease, any kind of brain fog. Believe it or not, people with constipation, people with obesity, diabetes, immune deficiency syndromes, chronic infections, hypertension. These are just some of the conditions that are related to it. we did mention earlier heart and heart disease and heart arrhythmias and atrial fibrillation. Iodine is a component of that. Now, we got to understand, well, why are people developing iodine deficiencies? We quote, take iodized salt. So why would people develop iodine deficiencies? Well, when you appreciate what they do to our food and you appreciate the three different what are known as halides, toxic halides that compete with iodine. You have chlorine, which is in our drinking water, is in all of our pools. I don't personally go into a pool simply because I don't want to sit and based in iodine. Chlorine, which is going to deplete my body of iodine. So I don't use a swimming pool. I'm happy to go into the ocean, which is filled with salt water and high concentrations of iodine. Second depleter of iodine that competes with iodine in the binding sites for normal function would be bromine. Bromine is found in all flour-based products. So if you eat any baked goods, you're getting high amounts of bromine, which is going to interfere with the body's ability to utilize and function properly with regards to iodine. Because bromine, along with chlorine, competes for the binding site and gets in the way of iodine doing its job. And then the last toxic halide is fluorine, found in our toothpastes. Also put into our table salt. They put fluoride in our table salt, which kind of stops your ability to absorb iodine. So iodine competes with chlorine, bromine, and fluorine. And when you're eating foods and experiencing life that are high in those three toxic halides, then you're going to have difficulties with absorbing iodine and having normal thyroid functioning. And then again, you're going to get the wonderful things that ultimately end up being like autoimmune disease, where the thyroid attacks itself, and you get Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Not a good thing. Certainly something that I've helped lots of people overcome. What happens as a result of not having enough iodine in the system? Well, you start to develop nodules within the thyroid. You could get goiter, which is an enlarged thyroid. And you get the nodules, and so they'll do an ultrasound on your thyroid and they'll say you have nodules in your thyroid, we should take them out before they become cancerous. No, you should take iodine, which will block infections and help to get rid of these kinds of things. So your libido will increase when you do iodine therapy, your brain fog will clear, you'll get deeper and better sleep, your metabolism will increase, your thyroid imbalances, goiters, etc. will disappear. Anybody that has ovarian cysts or even uterine cysts, those will have a tendency to disappear. And so what we want to appreciate next is how iodine works with breast tissue. Okay, the second main glandular storage site for iodine in women happens to be their breast tissue, and will actually compete with the thyroid. And so since the mammary glands have a trapping system for iodine similar to that of the thyroid, breasts effectively compete with the thyroid for ingested iodine. So you want to make sure you have plenty of iodine. Like we said before, goiter, development of goiter in young women indicates deficient distribution of iodine in both the breast and the thyroid tissue. Treating such patients with thyroid hormone is not sensible and appears to increase the risk of breast cancer. We certainly don't want to do that to a young lady. So iodine fulfillment therapy does not increase the risk of cancer, actually normalizes things. Again, perhaps the most significant breast symptom associated with iodine deficiency is fibrocystic breast disease, which can also manifest as fibrocystic ovaries or fibrocystic uteruses. Again, all the tissues in the body have iodine receptors, so we need iodine. We came from the ocean, which is plentiful in iodine. We need iodine in order for our system to function properly. And when you were a little kid, if you scraped your knee, Mom would typically put, that orangey type brownish liquid on your cut Well, that was iodine, because iodine is antibacterial. Iodine helps with the healing process. But then they came out with antibiotics and they got rid of that. When they came out with synthetic thyroid hormone and Synthroid and eventually Armour Thyroid, they got rid of Lugol's solution, I'm sorry, which used to be available, which was high in iodine for people to be healthy. So again, iodine is used as an anti-parasitic, it's an antibacterial, it's antiviral, and it's even anti-cancer. So realistically, what does this mean for you? I would invite you to come into the office and we will do a 2-inch iodine patch test. And we'll just see how deficient you could possibly be. That would be the smartest thing for you to do. But Dr. Rick, what if I wanted to get some iodine through food? Well, there's a lot of different sources associated with iodine, and then there's also a lot of different sources that actually block your ability to utilize iodine. So I'm going to read from a list here to help give you a complete understanding. Supporting thyroid function with food: coconut and coconut oil. Cooking in coconut oil. Best thing that you can do, because the superheating of your food isn't going to fractionate the saturated coconut oil and you don't create free radicals. So that's a good source of iodine. Kelp. I always like the phrase, kelp can help. Kelp is a sea plant. It's like seaweed. Basically, eating kelp is going to be high in iodine. It's going to help you utilize the iodine from the kelp. You're going to have to eat a whole crap load of it in order to get the necessary iodine, but it's certainly a nutritional source. Turkey. Turkey is a good source of iodine. Helps boost the immune system. Also is high in tryptophan, which will help make you go to sleep. But turkey is a good source. Coconut oil, coconut, kelp. These are good sources of iodine, other than taking supplemental iodine, which we'll talk about in a minute. What are some of the foods that can suppress the functioning of the thyroid gland? Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, mustard greens, kale, cabbage, turnips, soy, peanuts, and the dreaded, ridiculous, never use ever in your life, canola oil. These are all things that will block your body's ability to utilize iodine. Now, in order for your thyroid to function properly, you need both copper and iron associated, and you're going to need some vitamin C in order to absorb the iron and the copper. And so, for more copper in your diet, you want to use oysters, organ meats, cashews, sunflower seeds, clams, crabs, whole wheat products, if you can find them, because it's all processed wheat at this point, and cacao, believe it or not. Those are things that will help you get more copper in your diet. To boost your iron intake, eat more leafy green vegetables, shellfish, red meat, poultry, and beans. And as we said, in an effort to activate your ability to absorb copper and iron, you're going to need the whole food vitamin C, which you can get from citrus fruits, berries, tomatoes, bell peppers, and the highest concentration is raw white potatoes. But nobody eats raw white potatoes. They cook them, which destroys the vitamin C. So you need to appreciate that. So what I would ask you to consider is stopping into the office. We're going to do an iodine patch test, and you're going to know for yourself. You'll actually see the results for yourself. So many times you go to the doctor, they do a test, and you got to wait for the doctor to call you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If your results are normal, they'll never call you. If your results are problematic, they want to schedule you to come in so that they can add the next thing in the litany of cascade that they're going to apply to you to help your situation, at least treat the situation, not fix the situation. But yeah, this test, we paint a 2-inch square on your forearm. It's going to disappear in anywhere from 1 to 24 hours, and it's going to help us to appreciate how deficient that you are. And then we will supplement with any one of 3 or 4 different iodine supplement products. Prolamine iodine is for people who are really, really, really deficient. It's going to help you get 6,000% of the recommended daily allowance. Okay. We have Iodomir, That's a iodine supplement with less of a concentration. We have Cataplex F that has iodine in it. That's a lesser concentration. We have organic minerals that also has iodine in it. So those are the different solutions. We just have to figure out, well, which one's appropriate for you. So I've given you a lot of information. It's probably one of my longer classes. I apologize for that, but unfortunately, appreciating your thyroid. Oh, the other thing about thyroid is because it's situated here, it aligns up with your throat chakra. Your throat chakra, if you know anything about your chakra, is an energy center, and the throat chakra specifically is about you speaking your truth. And I have seen that lots of women, even some men that have thyroid issues, typically are a little bit more passive in life. They don't express their truth fully. So one of the things that we ask these people to do is we ask them to sing. Singing emotional songs help you to express that repressed emotion. And that repressed emotion, unfortunately, it goes along with the organ that regulates the functioning of the thyroid in terms of, not from an endocrine perspective, that comes from your pituitary and your hypothalamus with some feedback associated with the adrenals, but the organ that actually regulates whether you express your truth or not happens to be your gallbladder. Your gallbladder is associated with all thyroid issues, and it has to do with being able to express your truth versus emotional repression, which is an emotion that affects the gallbladder. So if you're not speaking your truth, if you're holding your thoughts and feelings in, you're actually turning your thyroid off, and we certainly don't want that for you. So it's important to appreciate what the thyroid represents. It controls your metabolism, but it's part of your throat chakra, which allows you to speak your truth and express how you really feel. Your feelings are yours. If anybody's offended by your feelings, then they have a problem. But your feelings are yours. You should be able to express them, and nobody should be upset based upon how you feel, because your feelings belong to you. Now, sometimes your feelings may upset somebody else. That's their problem. But certainly continue to express your truth, and that will help to open up the energy specific to your thyroid and help make everything function better. So I want to thank you for tuning in this week. If you have any questions, you can call me directly at area code 845-561-2225. Again, 845-561-2225. Please do not text that phone, but you can email me directly at docrick, DOCRICK, at spineboy.com. And I'm happy to get back to you either one of those ways, or you could stop into my office at 138 Canal Street in Pooler Park. That is in Pooler, Georgia, Suite 404 of Building 400. And it's my pleasure to help you to better understanding. That is my mission, that is my purpose, and I would welcome the opportunity to support you. So that's it for this week's class. Tune back in next week. Same health time, same health station. Once again, this is Dr. Richard Untuned saying I look forward to supporting you when your health matters.